Sometimes when you're painting your model, it's necessary to mask certain areas so the paint doesn't get on them. So sometimes you'll have a single part, like say this gantry arm, that part of it's white, part of it's red. So what you do is you mask off the area that you don't want paint to get on, spray it, and then take the mask off. The materials that are used for masking are pretty simple. It's masking tape, obviously, in different widths. This is Tamiya masking tape, comes in a nice dispenser. They also make a plastic or mylar type tape for curved surfaces, really good stuff. And there's also liquid masker. Liquid masker you brush onto areas that you don't want paint to attach to and then peel it off when it's dry. You'll need a straight edge, like this one, and your X-Acto knife so you can cut your tape. Sometimes I use paper or paper towels to wrap around areas so that I don't have to waste a lot of masking tape. So let's take a look at the areas on the Jupiter C that I had to mask. There were two areas on this model of the Jupiter C that I had to address with masking. The first was the gantry base. The gantry base is red, but it has gray floors on the bottom. So what I did was I built the subassembly, primed it, then I painted the gray. After the gray dried, I masked it off with masking tape so that when I sprayed the red and it dried, I could just peel the masking tape off and I'd have gray floors. Worked great. The other area that I had to mask were the gantry arms that hold up the platforms and hold the rocket up. If you look at the picture, you can see it's white, red, alternately. In the instructions, they recommend, since there's 3 pieces to each assembly for each arm, that you paint red, white, red. That looks okay when it's done, but it's not quite realistic. On the actual rocket, the colors broke between the platforms. So in other words, it would go white, red, white, red, white, red. To do that, I had to take these pieces and mask them off where the platforms were so that I could get the correct alternating colors, the red, white. So what I did was I took my gantry pieces and I marked where the platforms were, and I made those the color breaks by masking off with masking tape. And the pins where the pieces assembled, I wanted to keep them the original color, so I used the liquid mask on those. You can see the blue on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pieces over, spray them red, take off the mask so we can see the red, white alternating colors, and we'll compare it to the original piece. The Jupiter C model has been masked, painted, and assembled. I turned it around facing the rear here so that you could see the back of the gantry, and you can see where I masked between the white and the red colors. Also, I have the rocket here, and if you notice, all the markings are on the rocket. Let's take a look at decaling, and then we'll take a look at the overall model kit assembled. What's needed to apply decals? You need your decals, obviously. These are water transfer decals, so I need water to dip them in to slide them off of the paper. I need a straight edge and a hobby knife to cut them out. And I also need a decal setting solution or solvent. This is basically to soften the decal to adhere and go over all the details. Applying water slide decals is quite simple. First, cut out the decal. Then dip the decal into water to loosen it off the backing or off the paper. Should hold it under for maybe 30 seconds. Once the decal's loose, then we're going to prep the surface with a little bit of water. I usually just take the decal and slide it on there just to get some water going. Then loosen the decal and slide it into place. Use your tweezers to reposition it. And always check your instruction sheet to make sure that you're putting the decals in the proper location. The next step, and this is pretty crucial, is to take a damp paper towel. I usually wet them and squeeze the water out. And then press the decal down so that it's in position. You have to be really careful doing this, that you don't move the decal. Once that's done and you've blotted the decal, take your Salvaset or your decal solution softener and put just a little bit on the decal. Now, once you do this, once you put the softener on the decal, don't touch it. Let it settle and let it dry. Do not touch it. And that's all there is to putting a decal on. And here's the finished model. Let's take a closer look and see some of the detail on this kit.